Claudes. Welcome to another episode of Crystal Thems, and this is kind of a special one because Squid and I are recording this in person together.
That's right, Claudes. We are in the same place physically. I can touch Liz.
Yeah. Oh, I got poked. I got booped. But this is an episode of The Crystal Thems, which is a Steven Universe rewatch podcast. As always, I'm Liz. Hello.
I'm Squid, or Sid, whichever you prefer.
And today we're talking about a truly wild episode I kind of forgot about. Season 1, Episode 15, Onion Trade.
That's right. So this episode aired March 17th, 2014. It's number 18 in the production code, despite airing as the 15th episode. This episode is written and storyboarded by Lamar Abrams. And this episode had 1.790 million US viewers upon air.
Wow. And to remind you, this is an episode where Steven trades a magical item with Onion, first off, bad choice.
Terrible.
For a beloved guy's figure. Guys under your supervision.
Yes, a guy's toy. I do want those guys' toys.
I also kind of want the guy's toys. But before let's just go ahead and get started. We start off with a morning title card. So the just like light blue hanging laundry card because we're mostly outside on the beach during the daytime.
Yeah, so we're mostly outside for the whole episode. And we start with an outside view of the temple house with Amethyst lounging on a beach chair. And Steven sort of showing up and asking about his guys. Guys.
And Amethyst gives him the look of, I feel like a sapphic person who's with a friend and is like, yeah, men. And they're like, what? Definitely look I feel like Amethyst gives Steven about guys.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're talking about. And Steven does what every small child who has come up to you excited about their toys is like, my guys. Guys under your supervision. There's this guy and that guy and that guy. And I'm in the Mega Man character select background while I describe the guys.
Or the Brady Bunch.
Which
is probably my reference is the Brady Bunch window form.
Yeah. The image of a bunch of different guys in that grid, and I go, so that's Mega Man. I'm picking my guy.
You can tell our generations right there.
Yes.
I do have to say, did you have a little like Gashapon quarter machine collecting thing? Because I know I did growing up.
I mean, there were a couple at like the laundromat when I was a kid. I have that, or I had to get out of that obsession now as an adult because the game's like Genshin Impact and Cookie Run to an extent where I just go, I am going to spend real world money trying to get these characters and I desperately want them.
It was at our movie theater in the Pizza Hut. They were little aliens and they were legit like quarter machine aliens. So we'd like bring like pocket full of quarters and we went to go see movies and we'd go and try and find what one we got, and they would be like some were green clear, some were like solid swirly sparkly.
Yes,
like Gashapon. I'm a sucker for Gashapons, man. I avoid that at conventions.
I'm remembering because I had one at the Shakey's Pizza Parlor in I don't know if they're just California chain, but Shakey's Pizza Parlor. They had like an arcade section just for kids at the pizza place. And it's still technically a sports bar, so there was a gacha with little like sports guys, like you could get a baseball player or they were like the ball and also a player, like a football player was a football and the baseball. And I wanted all of them, obviously, as everyone does when they give you that kind of choice.
Always.
And so then I ended up having to get banned from it by my parents because they're like, you gotta stop spending quarters on just this. You're not even playing games.
Oh, no, we collected them, and it was a whole thing with my friend group. You would bring pocket full of quarters to a movie theater, or I'd be like, I want Pizza Hut specifically because they had the same quarter machine. Like I said, that's why I can't do Gashapons at conventions and stuff, because I would spend so much money on stupid Gashapons.
It's so fun and addicting.
My little crow brain is like,
I want this. Exactly. And also, it's so predatory to children who are like, this is gambling, but for kids.
It is gambling, but for children, and I respect the hustle. Mm-hmm. But maybe that's why my generation is so like, I mean, we also had Pokemon, which was literally, gotta catch them all.
Exactly. Like, hey, so I'm a completionist now for the rest of my life.
Yep.
This will be a problem.
It's quite terrible, let me tell you.
Yeah.
quite terrible. So anyways.
But Steven wants his guys, and he's missing one of his guys, his ranger guy.
Ranger guy, and he seems really sad about it, but you really don't find out why until he goes to meet his dad, and Greg tries to drown him with the hose.
He does. It kind of just... Steven shows up and immediately gets blasted in the face with a hose, which...
Full on in the face.
Greg, you can't waterboard your son.
Apparently this happens a lot. I'm feeling this is a constant thing.
Yeah, the fact that Steven was chill with it, and the fact that Greg was like, hey, you showed up without a hose ready, so like, oh, this is a common thing you do, just blasting each other in the face, extended amounts of time, not like a quick hit, but just a...
Oh no, he sat there for a while, and he's like, you look wet and sad.
Yeah, because Steven's like, no, I have a serious thing to talk about.
Yeah, and I kind of love this shows how different people remember different things from times together.
Yes.
Because Steven remembers his dad getting him ranger guy at the end of their beach party, adventure, togetherness.
Yeah.
Greg remembers the funnel cake.
Which, to be fair, I remember every funnel cake I've eaten.
Same. I love funnel cake.
It's a super delicious, decadent thing where you go, this is amazing, and I'm going to eat it once, and then I will not eat this again, because if I eat it every day, it's going to physically hurt me.
Oh, if I eat it, I'd say more than once a month, it would probably kill me.
Mm-hmm. I still remember when I was a kid, my dad took me and my sister to the beach. We like rented bikes. We rode around. It was like a sweet, nice day. We went to the pier and we went out to eat stuff. And we were like having a great time just hanging out on the beach. And the thing I remember clearest is that we went to a place and we got funnel cake ice cream cones where they took funnel cake, drenched it in the powdered sugar, twisted it into an ice cream cone, and then put 2 scoops of ice cream in there. And I'm like, that's burned into my brain forever, because that was the best thing I ever had in my life.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
It was so good.
I mean, I remember my dad would get me Pez's when we went to like the store together. He'd get me a Pez, which is why oddly enough, fun fact about Liz, I have a Pez collection. I'm normal.
I mean, that is pretty normal.
Normal, but I don't know if my dad would remember that he would get me Pez's when we would go out.
Yeah.
And whatnot, because to me it was a big important thing. To him it was a regular day.
Yeah, it's those little things where you just realize what matters to you and what matters to someone else on that day, and there's always going to be that discrepancy in memories.
Always, for sure. So they start digging through Greg's van because Steven, oh my God, we didn't mention Steven's room.
That's right.
Steven is a hoarder like Amethyst and Greg, so he learned it from them. And also I fully believe, because at one point Pearl opens up the window and a seagull flies out, that Steven was trying to keep the bird in his room as a pet.
Yes, definitely.
And I will not, I will die on this hill.
Listen, he has a pet cat now. He needs a pet bird.
He's just trying to collect, he like, oh, I collected this random lion. I'm now going to collect this random bird.
Mm-hmm. If I just get this seagull, it will be my pet, which I'm sorry to tell you, Steven, seagulls are no one's pet. They belong in hell, and that's where they come from.
Yeah, you have way more seagull experiences than I do. I don't have a lot of opinions about seagulls.
There's a deep-seated hatred in my heart for seagulls. There's also a respect for them. I respect them as creatures who exist in this world. I'd also fist fight one if I could.
That's how I feel about geese. I will fight a goose, and I almost did this past year, but that's a story for another time.
They're just thieves, and they steal from your hands, which actually is a perfect thematic thing for this episode.
Because so Greg's looking for the plate for the funnel cake, because apparently he kept it.
Yeah.
Forgets what he's doing.
ADHD.
Steven's like, I lost a guy that's important to me. And Greg goes, well, here's a bag of quarters. Go get another one. So Steven goes to the arcade, goes to the gashapon machine, puts in a quarter, boop, and gets Dave guy, who just seems like a regular guy with taxes.
Yeah, just a regular old boring guy.
All I'm saying, oh my God, can we do a class play where we're all just different guys?
Yes. Every single person dressed up as a different guy.
A different guy.
What are you? The guys?
And we're the guy. It's super deep cut. But yes, so he keeps putting quarters in and just keeps getting guys.
Keeps getting one guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Keeps getting Dave guy.
Yes. Which is insane. This machine only has Dave guys.
They were at the end of it, and they were like, you know what? We have this box of Dave guys, and we're just going to pour the entire box of Dave guys in.
See, I think because this is at the arcade, which means it's Mr. Smiley's arcade. And if Dave guy's the worst guy, he's probably the cheapest. You can just buy a box of Dave Guys and fill that with it. And also, more people will put more quarters in there because they want something other than Dave Guys.
That's true. I mean, Steven got 30 of them, so he spent $15 if they're a quarter each.
That's wild.
Right? Yeah.
No. That's actually a good amount.
I don't know. I don't math. Don't yell at me. Don't come at me. So yeah, I respect that hustle, to be honest with you. So we get a bunch of Dave Guys, and then he looks over and sees Onion. Oh, no, sorry. Onion crawls out of the vending machine.
Yeah, next to the gotcha
respect.
Machine.
And Onion's walking away, and that's when Steven realizes that Onion has a ranger guy in his back pocket.
Yeah.
So Steven wants it.
Obviously, he goes, okay, I want that, and I can probably try trading with Onion for this ranger guy.
Yeah.
So he follows Onion around. Onion goes to a suitcase store.
Yeah, same suitcase, which is the first time we see same suitcase.
That's right, yeah. And that's how we know, at least later on, or Onion does have a friend called Suitcase Sam.
Yeah.
So this is likely where they come from, or someone's named Sam and their parent probably runs a suitcase store. Sam Jr.
Sam Jr., yes. So he looks like he's buying a briefcase, but then he gets the guy's lunch.
Yeah. Is sort of haggling for the briefcase, doesn't get that, instead gets the guy's lunch, his burger, which Onion didn't give this guy anything.
No.
So what was the haggle for?
I truly think Onion is in fact in charge of the mob in Beach City and was just going for his protection money.
Yeah, but I mean, if I had to pay the mob, not in protection money, but in a burger I got earlier, I'd be like, that's fine. Yeah, you can have this.
So Onion was probably low-key threatening this man.
I would believe it.
To get his lunch, like stealing this guy's lunch money.
Yes.
And so Steven's like, what's going on? And then he walks out and walks to the pier, pulls out a delicious looking burger.
It does look good, minus the tomatoes.
Well, I like tomatoes, so I like it all. And then just starts deconstructing the burger and throwing it into the ocean, kind of like a offering to bring his father to him.
Yeah, what a waste of a good burger.
What a waste of a good burger.
But it does summon Yellowtail.
Yeah, which is the first time we've really seen Yellowtail.
Yeah. He sort of pulls up in his ship, which is very adorable and tiny, and he's in his full yellow rain suit.
Full fisherman yellow rain suit. Jumps out. We hear murmuring, thinking maybe they're just far away. And in fact, no, that's just how they talk.
Yeah. Neither Onion or Yellowtail use like English words. It's just like murmurs and sounds, which I'm choosing to believe is a gem language, and that Yellowtail is the descendant of a human and a gem.
Oh.
It doesn't make any sense, but it would be funny. That a different gem at some point, and also why they're so pale. Just a different gem at one point did what Rose did, but it wasn't as spectacular because no one else knew about it. Just like, hey, I was in the background, I found a human, I really like them. Here.
Okay.
Now this is what the line is like.
Okay, that's interesting.
I have no basis for this theory.
But we just have it.
It would be funny.
Okay, I can respect this. So Yellowtail leaves immediately almost.
Mm-hmm.
Steven approaches Onion and is like, hey, can I trade you an awesome mint condition Dave guy for that ranger guy? And of course, Onion says no.
Mm-hmm.
Because Steven has done the biggest thing and kind of tell what he wants. He's telegraphing that he really wants ranger guy.
Yeah, which if you're bargaining, Claudes, don't let the other person know that you want that item.
100%.
Or how much you want that item. Sometimes it's like, well, I want it because I'm trying to buy it from you, obviously, but you can't let on that you're desperate for it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, now they hold all the power, and if you really want it, I'm going to jack this price up.
Yeah, because you'll pay for it because you really want it, so don't trust us.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes. So he offers him 30 Dave guys.
Wild.
Onion is like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So Steven's dejected and walks back to Amethyst, and in true Chaos Gremlin Amethyst form, just gives Steven a Pearl's replicator wand.
Yeah, and she does have that because we skipped it earlier, but Pearl came outside to scold Steven about his messy room, which it was messy. I love Mom Pearl. Tells Amethyst that her room is also messy because Amethyst is saying it's not that bad. Which Pearl's like, your room is also messy and disgusting. You can't find anything in there. Mm-hmm. Amethyst is like, I can find whatever I want. Pearl goes, okay, well then where is my magic axe that I've been asking you to find? And Amethyst goes, oh, I haven't even looked for it.
Which respects the honesty of being like, I haven't even looked.
Yeah. To which Pearl goes, Amethyst, go find this right now.
Right, which, Amethyst literally just, got up and probably went and sat down and then realized that she had the replicator wand.
Yeah, so she says she was looking for the magic axe and then found the replicator wand instead and came right back outside. Well, no, she replicated a bunch of trash, put it in Pearl's room, and then came back outside.
Such a sibling move right there.
Just going, I'm going to make your room messy. That will also distract Pearl for a couple of hours as she tries to deal with that trash.
Exactly. I'm just going to troll you a little bit, and then you can't be mad at me. So she gives Steven the replicator wand.
Yeah.
So Steven goes back to Onion and just starts replicating Dave's.
Yeah.
But Onion, in true just unhinged chaos, is on the moped that we saw in Arcade Mania.
Yeah.
Throws a bunch of ketchup onto the ground, does donuts in the ketchup, and then does a wheelie?
Yeah.
And then crashes and burns the bike in a massive explosion.
Yeah, it explodes on the pier and starts a fire immediately.
Huge fire, and then just walks away from the fire so casual.
Menace to society.
And just keeps saying no to no matter how many Daves that Steven throws.
Yeah, Steven replicates Dave in front of him and then just starts tossing them out. And Onion is walking forward, batting away Dave's the entire time.
Just true sociopath right there.
While the fire's behind him.
Until finally he points that he wants the replicator wand.
Yeah, which I said it out loud immediately, and I'm glad it was validated in the episode where I just said, Steven, just replicate Ranger Guy. Onion is holding Ranger Guy up to Steven as a trade for the replicator. You're right there. Just replicate it. What's he going to do? Stop you?
Just replicate it.
Yeah. Also, you just saw Onion crash his moped. I don't think you should give him a replicator.
Truly should not.
I don't think he would make good choices with it.
I mean, also, you saw him more or less get lunch from a man by bullying him. And crash just, come on.
And stole chips.
And also he got the stinking moped because he broke into the skee ball machine.
Yeah.
Steven.
There's too many things that were definitely obvious problems to be like, hey, Onion shouldn't have a replicator. And also, even ignoring all of those problems, Steven, you know better than to give regular humans magical items.
But it is truly in the vein of small child trades really expensive thing for a shiny thing that is worth nothing, and going home to their parents going, hey, I traded my brand new backpack for this Batman toy. Isn't it awesome?
Mom, don't be mad, but I traded away our cows for these 3 super cool beans that this man told me were magic.
Or in my generation, hey, I traded this first edition holographic Charizard card for a Jigglypuff. What? You did? Excuse me?
Exactly.
So very much along that route. And then we just see Steven with Ranger Guy and realizes Ranger Guy might be a little boring.
Exactly. He's sort of hanging out. It has the tension shot between him and Onion's face, and then we don't see their actual trade. It just cuts to Steven on the beach with Ranger Guy, and he's just sort of holding him up, enjoying his Ranger Guy, and he's like, actually, you're kind of boring. I thought you'd be more interesting.
Yes, and then it's like, I was a doctor once. And then he gets hit in the head with the Dave guy in the Gashapon bubble.
Yeah.
And then more. And then a massive tidal wave overtakes him. And you realize that Onion is just flooding everything with Daves.
Flooding the beach with Dave guys. Which, sure.
Yeah. I mean, oversaturate the Dave market, I guess.
Yeah, there's just going to be a million Daves out there. He's going to become less valuable.
Very much so. And, obviously the gems run out and Pearl's like, how do you get my replicator? And then Steven has to admit that he traded the replicator wand for Ranger Guy. And then you got your obvious, why didn't you just replicate it? And Steven's just like, dang it!
I heard that and I was like, thank you, Pearl. You understand what I thought, which was just, you can replicate Ranger Guy.
You can replicate that.
Solves it.
We get a Scrooge McDuck reference, which is swim like a rich duck, because Scrooge McDuck just swims in the coin vault.
Oh yeah, because of course Pearl and Garnet are perfectly fine walking on this mountain of gachapon capsules, but Amethyst immediately sinks. And it's just like, how do you walk around in this? And that's when we get the rich duck line. I do also like before that, because when Pearl goes, how did he get my replicator? She's looking at Amethyst, and Amethyst is like, aren't these Dave guys Steven's thing? Don't look at me.
So it wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. It's not like I gave him the replicator wand. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
I promise. So we see them try and stop Onion, and Onion replicates a car. Starts throwing cars at Garnet because the Daves didn't work.
Yeah, he tries to force blast like Dave's at her, and she summons a gauntlet and stops it because she's the coolest person.
She is in fact cool. So we get just a bunch of cars being thrown and stops them, and then Steven swims like a rich duck up to Onion and doesn't really tackle him, but just like appears next to him and takes the replicator away.
Yeah, they have a little tussle where they're like going down the Dave Mountain.
Yes, and then they kind of realize that Steven looks at the ranger and realizes it was his ranger guy that went missing all along.
Yeah, which I do love that Onion at least validates how trade works, because Steven goes, hey, this is my ranger guy. You traded my own ranger guy. Our trade didn't count. He just takes the replicator back, and Onion's like, okay, that's acceptable. Fair.
And then you have a moment where Steven kind of realizes that not everyone has the same relationship with their father like he has, because Yellowtail's gone all the time. And so Onion just waits for Yellowtail to come back, and it obviously gets really bored, because chances are Onion's just like that really smart kid that just causes chaos because things are too... because he's too smart for his own good.
It's very much a child of neglect, so the only attention I get is when people are mad at me.
Yes, and I cause crazy damage. So we kind of get... Steven's trying to have a cute heart-to-heart, and is like, oh, you just miss him and all this jazz. And then Onion just shakes his head and is like, oh, you just want to cause chaos.
Yeah. And it's like, well, that is... I think the first part's true, but Onion wouldn't say that.
No.
Wouldn't admit to that.
No, Onion is just here for the chaos, and you know what? I respect it. I respect the chaos.
The level of property damage is likely why Yellowtail is gone all the time.
All the time. Has to make so much money.
Exactly. He has to make money to pay off the debts that Onion is incurring by breaking everything.
Everything. And all the like tickets that Onion probably gets from the cops and bails, and well, no, because Onion would just sneak out. Let's be honest.
Also, I don't think they get arrested. Literal child.
I feel like at some point you would with Onion.
Yeah, that's very good.
Maybe the first couple times they'd be like, "Hey," then after like, "All right, you know what? You truly are a menace to society."
Local problem, Onion.
Local mobster Onion.
Yeah.
So Garnet destroys the replicator, which makes everything disappear.
Yeah.
Including Amethyst realizes the trash that she put in Pearl's room, and she's very sad about this fact.
She destroys the replicator, and Pearl looks so upset by it. She just goes, Garnet!
Yeah, she's upset. I mean, what do you think Pearl was using the replicator for?
Organization, I'm sure.
Oh, probably.
She just replicates shelves to put things on.
Shelves and clear bins.
Yeah. Honestly, can I have that replicator? That could solve a lot of human issues. What's that? Hunger? Never heard of her. It just replicates food. It just replicates matter of any kind. I desperately want that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Like
work on money?
Warm clothes and money. Yeah.
Well, I guess the money would all have the same tags. You can't. Like it would be flagged.
Yeah.
For fraud, but still, I feel like you would replicate things, and it would be so useful.
But even if you get a diamond and just replicate the diamond,
actually. It seems like it replicates most material. Would it replicate gems?
Oh.
Could it replicate a gem? It's questionable because they're, I think, a bit more complex than a Dave doll or a car.
Yeah.
So could it replicate gems or people?
That's a great question.
Just replicate a whole person.
Just replicate, yeah. Oh, gosh.
It'd be terrifying. Actually, then I might be inclined to be like, hey, maybe this gets locked away forever.
Yeah, maybe we should not have this at all, because this is not good.
No, it's dangerous.
That's a really dark thought.
Yeah, but that's not what happens. Instead, it's destroyed by Garnet, who says, I'm not cleaning this up, and just smashes it immediately.
Yes, and then Steven gives Onion Ranger Guy, which is very sweet of them. And Greg even says, because Greg had appeared at one point wanting just ice cream and got stuck in the magic stuff, and he's terrified. But, Greg realizes that Steven did a very nice thing and gave up something he loves to make his friend happy, local mobster happy.
It was very sweet of him to do that. I don't think Onion deserved that Ranger Guy.
Oh, absolutely not, because he stole it in the first place.
Exactly. How did you stole this from Steven? How did you even get this?
Yeah, he definitely broke in and stole it from Steven in the first place.
Yeah. Or, because Steven's room is so filthy, a seagull took it and brought it outside and dropped it when it realized it wasn't food, because seagulls only care about food.
For a moment, I thought you were going to say Steve Goals. And I was like, is that what a Steven Seagal is? It's just
Steven
Steve Goal?
The Steve Goal? No.
Steve Goal Seagal. Sorry, my ADHD brain just went a lot of different routes. And I just imagined Steven Seagal as a seagull.
Oh my god.
No, I truly believe that Onion fully broke in, like climbed through a window, stole Ranger Guy, and probably some other things that Steven has yet to realize are missing.
Yeah. See, I feel like Onion walked through the front door.
Oh, probably.
They definitely
probably passed Amethyst too, just like lounging in Amethyst, just paid no attention.
Yeah. And then went inside, went into Steven's room, took the Ranger Guy, and then walked out.
Yeah, he fully stole it. There was no seagull usage. He stole it.
But yeah, he stole the Ranger Guy, but he gets it as a reward for crime, I guess.
Yeah. And
then Steven and Greg have that heart-to-heart where Greg says, hey, that's really kind of you. And Steven goes, hey, it was more about the memories that the doll had than the actual doll itself.
And now we have new memories.
Horrible, horrible memories.
Horrible, horrible memories.
Yeah.
And then we get a nice little star wipe. And that's the episode. For being such like kind of a using TV terms, sort of a bottle episode where story really doesn't happen. I mean, bottle episodes are really only used in live actions because you're in one set versus multiple sets, but it's very much like a very contained story in that fact.
Yeah. Despite the fact that we had the Lars and the Cool Kid episode previously, feels like the first town episode. Like, this is just about people who live in the town. It's really not about the magical stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, there's the replicator, but
it's not like Jim's interfering with stuff.
Exactly. It is purely, this is just about Onion, kind of.
Yeah, I liked it. I honestly forgot about it. And I really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, it was a good one. But yeah, it's fun. It's a quick episode. There's not much to say about it, so this is a bit of a shorter one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I feel like especially because we have some bigger ones coming up. I mean, we have the Pearl and the Sword Fighter is next, and then we have the Lion movie part. Was it Lion 2, the movie?
Yeah. Which
I feel like are both kind of heavier episodes coming up, or bigger episodes coming up. So it's kind of nice to have a bit of a bottle episode before we start getting to that emotional stuff.
Yeah. And let me double check the production information, because this is the 18th episode in the production code, but it airs as the 15th. Right. So I wonder if this was made after those really heavy emotional ones, and they realized, no, we need to break this up before we get to the heavy stuff.
The heavier stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
It would make sense, because you can't have too many heavy episodes in a row, especially because this is it's still in essence a kid show. So you really can't be having like a bunch of heavy, because Steven goes pretty heavy. So you really can't have a ton of heavy episodes, because that would probably emotionally scar children. Yeah, and it is also in its early days. Like, the show hasn't really gotten its footing yet on where it can go with that emotional, touchstone. So it's still got to have the softer moments. Yeah, so this is episode 18 in the production code, and then we're going to come up on, Steven and the Sword Fighter and Lion the movie, which are 13 and 17 in the production code, respectively. Oh, okay. So they got made before this. Yeah. So it probably was we need a little bit of a chiller bottle episode before we start dropping. Yeah. So just sort of reorganizing them around. But yeah, that is the episode. There's not much more to say about it, so I guess
we can wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Our first in-person recording.
Woo! You can't hear
Yay.
my clapping, but woo!
That's okay. Squid, do you want to tell the people where they can find us?
Yes, so you can find us, wherever you get your podcasts as Crystal Thems Pod. You can find us on Twitter at Crystal Thems Pod or on Instagram at The Crystal Thems Podcast, or send us an email at crystalthemspodcast@gmail.com. As a note, the intro and outro music is the Feymild by Arcane Anthems. Go ahead and check out their Patreon for, more music or to just hear this song in its entirety. And with that, remember, you're one of us, Clods. We wouldn't be the Crystal Thems without you.
We'll catch you on the flip side.